This is probably the most special Know the Scene that we are going to have to date. I am so excited about this. This is Simone, the Visual Arts and Education Director, coming live from the studio of Know the Scene with Cain Center for the Arts. And I have two of the most special guests that you could possibly have in the northern region of Charlotte. So we're excited. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So Eva, do you want to go ahead and...
Sure. I'm Eva Crawford, and I'm a visual artist from Charlotte. And is there anything else you'd like me to say? Other than I'm just so honored to be here.
I'm just so excited. You don't have to say anything yet.
Oh,
okay. So Ellie, tell us where you're coming from and tell us who you are.
My name is Ellie Rose. I am also a visual artist. I'm currently living in Columbia, South Carolina, but I am from Buffalo Junction, Virginia.
And I just want to tell you, these are probably the most phenomenal artists to date that we have in our gallery. And I'm just so excited to talk about these two. So they were very, very humble about they're visual artists. They're not just visual artists. There's some kick. Hold on, I gotta get my buttons ready. I have buttons for this. There we go. I got my air horn. They are some kick. There we go. That's what they are. They do really well. So these two ladies are featured in our current exhibit, Crowned, and they are also are exhibiting in our gallery by way of our visual arts partnership with Art Fields, which is located in South Carolina. So we just want to shout our visual partner out. Art Fields is such a phenomenal organization. They reside and are located in the Lake City, South Carolina area, and they just do so well for the visual arts community. Kyle, Roberta, all of the team members that I have met thus far, I mean, the hospitality in that town is just amazing, much less all of the art that comes there every single year. And we were so lucky. Let me tell you how lucky Cain Center for the Arts was. We were so lucky that we got to pull these two ladies from the artwork and the artists that submitted in the 2023 competition exhibition. Here comes my air horn. We did that. That was us. Cain Center for the Arts did that. And so now we have Ellie Rose. And I just want to say Ellie Rose and Eva Crawford are like just namesake people to have in a gallery. So that's another thing. Like, this was such a cohesive body of work. I'm so excited to introduce her. We're just going to get right back in. So based on the artwork that we have, I have questions for you guys. So I'm excited to hear and see the audience get to know you. So each of you, and we could take turns, I don't care how you do this, but tell me a little bit about the work. So Ellie Rose is presenting her body of work that is titled Southern Gothic. Am I correct in that, Ellie?
Yes.
Southern Gothic. Could you just tell us? I don't have words for that. Could you just give me help?
Well, obviously, like, there's the literary movement.
Oh my God.
Southern Gothic. But really, I think it was the two words separately coming together for me that the idea like struck from. And then I obviously realized it's a part of like a bigger like cultural Southern phenomenon. But I've always kept all my feelings on my sleeve. You know, I tell everyone my business all the time, but really, I make paintings of my favorite people, my friends and my family, and every person that I've painted in the last 2 years, except for one person, has been from the South. And I met her in the South. Our relationship like grew in the South. So it's mostly about like glorifying the beauty of like hard work and play in the South. I think my paintings are both very playful, but obviously show that a lot of time goes into making them.
Yes.
And the relationships with those people are the same thing. They took a really, really, really long time to cultivate. I'm 31 and I've known my best friend for 27 years. Our other best friend just had a baby like 12 hours ago, and we've known her for 17 years. You know, my grandmother's 97 years old. I just have a million.
Can I do an air horn for the 97? Can I just do an air horn for that? Because that's the kind of age that you got to get an air horn for.
Yeah, grandma's amazing. She'll be 98 in July, and she had multiple siblings live past 100. So
what?
She is yeah, I just got a lot of people to brag about.
Yeah.
And I think that
Yeah.
I love everything about things that happen. Not everything. I do love the South. You know, I've learned through making this body of work that I also get to talk about like Southern accents. There's
Yeah.
just certain charismatic things about Southerners that I really appreciate, and I want to bring some attention to the like beautiful Southerners that I know.
And what's crazy and really inspirational about your work is that they are so highly elemented, meaning that they have such a variety of things happening. Like you stare at one piece and you just take all this energy in and you're like, am I sexy? Am I smart? Am I fun? Am I a little cuckoo? Am I a little am I married? And like it's so many emotions swirling in each and every piece. I mean, the energy is literally dynamic and it is so and the more important part, let's say that, the more important part that I love about it, it just seems like such a direct extension of who you are. It just seems like such a direct and powerful and important like extension of you. And that is what I love about this body of work. And the fact that the curation details for this work was really inspired from the two artists that came in. So Ellie has this phenomenal dynamic energy that's so drastic and it's just so lightning. And then Eva comes in with this graceful wisdom of personality and poise. And I'm just like, is this womanhood in like two different places?
Yeah.
It's like so dynamic in both. And I'm just like staring at the work. Like I'm staring at the work as I'm putting the work up and I'm like, as we're hanging, I'm just like, man, these two artists are phenomenal. And like the fact that they are inhabiting the same space together, it gives me such a wonderful hug. I get a hug from the work.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Is that nice?
Yeah.
That's real honest too.
Yeah.
That's real honest because like it feels like I'm talking to my. Can I curse on here? I can't curse on here. Okay, sorry. Yeah, we not cursing.
Air horn.
Okay, air horn. But it's like getting a hug from like my motorcycle grandma. Okay, does that work? Like my grandmother that has a motorcycle and still drops off cookies and still bakes like my favorite pie. Like it's like getting a hug from that type of energy because it's definitely like I know who I am. I'm very sure about who I am, but I really have the ability to make space for other people. And that's what both of these pieces in this gallery all over our facility just speak. Like there's room for more, but I'm so powerful at the same time. And like just together, it's really important. So I'm just being honest. He was like, it's good. No,
That's good.
It's good, no, but it is a very honest depiction. I'm not saying that because I like you too. I like you too, and I really like the work too. So I think it's important to say, like, I like you, but your work is just phenomenal. So we got a little bit of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our sponsors right quick, and then we are going to hear from Eva, and she's going to tell us about her soul of the human. And then you're going to see why it feels like my grandmother's on a microscope giving me a hug. So stay tuned and we'll talk to you later.
Vroom, vroom.
And of course, we are still following through with the Queen's Takeover of Know the Scene. My name is Simone Elbe. I'm the Visual Arts and Education Director at Cain Center for the Arts, and I have the two most phenomenal artists that we are showing in our gallery to date. I have Eva Crawford and Ellie Rose, and they are here with me, and we're talking shop, okay? And we're learning all the things. So I just want to hear, so we've heard from Ellie about these, like the work of Southern Gothic and how the body of work came together. So I want to really paint the picture for the audience of how these two pieces look to me as a curator. So Eva, could you give us a breakdown of the soul of the human? Because talk to us about your medium, because you're a watercolorist, but your subject matter is not traditional. It is very like vibrant.
Yeah, my paintings and drawings just don't fit in a typical category. I had a friend one time, I introduced myself and I said, yeah, I do portraiture. And she said, no, no, you got to stop right there.
Right.
That puts a picture in people's head of like more of a traditional, but I am really driven by the soul of the person. I'll see, either meet somebody or see a photo or, and I'm really driven to just capture that. It's almost like something automatically starts in me and my hands just become tools that my brain is telling them what to do. And, even though I was a high school teacher for 13 years and people say, oh, I'd love to come learn from you. I'm like, I don't know what to teach you because really my body's just taken over and just flowing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a flow. But
That's crazy. You can actually tell though. Like you can tell that your work has its own energy. Like it comes to life on its own because it has so much personality. And I think when we think about like watercolor and like the medium of watercolor, a lot of people think landscapes and florals and things like things that are just really pretty. And the work is pretty, but it is fascinating work.
I think that's that fractured quality to it, or watercolor is intimidating to a lot of artists that try to do it because they're just like, I can't control it.
Yes, the control.
And I think that is a metaphor for life. I mean, you just cannot control things in life.
You can't.
And so when you embrace that lack of control.
Ellie's laughing. She's like, boy, can you not control?
No.
You hit a nerve there.
Oh my gosh. I think that connects with everybody. You try to control things, whether you've got kids or,
Do you need the air horn for that? Do you? Okay, cool.
Sure.
Let me support. I'm supporting the artist here. No control. No control.
But I think then that is just is what has driven me to do these pieces of work that are just so expressive.
They are, man. And you're not saying that because you're the artist. You're saying that because that is the true fact about your work. And I think that that's the importance about these two. It's like it gives you two versions almost of the same person, and it gives you the idea because your work lets me know that you understand the human from a very life perspective. It's not hands off at all. So sometimes, like I think as we get into like visual arts, we know as artists and as arts administrators and curators that we understand that sometimes presenting fine arts in a gallery feels very hands-off-ish. Like it feels like you can't really like just go in and just like grab the work, and you can't really, well, you're not supposed to. Please don't come to Cain Center for the Arts and grab anything off the wall, please. But you can't just like kind of engross yourself in it. That's why I fell in love with Dadaism and Salvador Dali, because he was so expressive and imaginative that it was easy to follow along with his work because it was just like, my imagination had no limit looking at his work. And I really feel like Crown, the exhibit, really gives the audience the opportunity to kind of like feel the work in the presence and in the space that they're in. And I feel like sometimes as fine arts, sometimes when we're in these galleries and we are in these fine art gallery spaces, that we don't give the audience that ability to connect with the work. And I mean, when people walk into the gallery, like they're just going to see a very connecting body of work. Because it's funny, someone asked me, and I really don't want to give a spoiler alert, but I'll give it because you two are the artists. But I have paired each one of your pieces with the other in the curation. So each of you have like a sister of the other artist. Ooh. And so it's really interesting to see because you guys' body of work was Southern Gothic and the soul of the human, but my body of work is finding the connection between Southern Gothic and the soul of the human and being able to present them in a full body of work. And so in order for me to do that, I have to like engross myself in each of you and then come out with something that resonates for the masses. And so being able to do that, it wasn't hard. And Justin comes in, he's like, man, these are big pieces. And he's like looking at the pieces, he's like, these are cool. And I'm like, exactly. Because why should art not be fun? Mm-hmm. I don't want to be whack. I always said that. Like if I was going to work in fine arts and I was going to do gallery stuff and I was going to be an arts administrator, I didn't want to be like whack. Like I didn't want to be a loser. I didn't want to be a loser. Ellie is like, who gave her buttons?
I know. Hey, can I say something about the exhibit?
Yes.
So I was just thinking, the first time I saw Ellie's work was down at Lake City. By the way, Artfields, I think, starts in a week, which is so great.
Yeah, because you two did it again.
Yeah. I'm so excited. It is. And everyone needs to go down there. You can't imagine it till you go. But the first time I saw Ellie's work, and I didn't know her, we didn't have this award yet.
Yeah.
And I was so taken in by, you said, all the elements, the detail. And then my work is much more a close up of people's faces, but there's, so many intricacies.
Yes.
So the whole show is one that you can't just do a drive-by.
No, you can't. Yeah. Like you actually, like Bill, this is your like official invitation. Like no drive-bys. You got to show up. You got to come see the work because it's interesting to see the response that people have to your work. Because even when you guys were bringing in the work and they saw me putting it up, and I'm like, I'm a little like a prima donna when I'm putting up work. Like nobody bother me. Like the artist is not ready. You know, it gets a little intense in the art gallery when I'm putting up work. And so everyone knows, but like your work was so captivating. I couldn't even stop them from coming. I was like, just come look. Cause I understand. Like at this point for this exhibit, everybody needs to just come look. So we're all just kind of like, man, looking at it sideways. And they're like, you're going to put this piece together? And I said, yeah. They was like, yeah, you're onto something here. And I'm like, it's crazy because you see that and you see that work. But how do you guys feel as artists being paired together? That's a good one. That's a good one. How do you guys feel? And I don't care who takes that first.
Well, Ellie's thinking, and it's so fun because people would, I've been telling them I've got this great show with this young lady. And so I could be Ellie's mom as far as age-wise goes. So, but she is very wise. She is a professor at a university, South Carolina. So big respect for her. But I think we're both very spiritual. Mm-hmm. And
I feel that. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think it's a spiritual aspect.
I've been thinking about like why y'all feel like my people, and that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
And I love it that we come from two different directions, but we meet in this very exciting show. And but I love that you said the motorcycle grandmother, because I see Ellie as somebody who's very much on the motorcycle, and I am the one that's cheering her on. Yes. But I know Ellie's got some motorcycles in her background, but my brother is a visual artist, and his work is very vibrant and purples and just very expressive people. But he is a big motorcycle driver. So.
It's kind of like you're like the godmama.
Yeah, I'll take the mama part, and you can just be that.
It is. It's like the godmom, but it's not like the godmom that tells you what not to do. It's the godmom that's like, go. Yeah. Like, do it, go harder. Like just very, and then it's the one where you sit on the porch one day and you just drove by to say hi, and they start telling you about your life. You're like, did you do that? And they start telling you stories, and you're like, wait a minute, you were a thing.
I have some tales, but I'm not going to share them now.
Okay, that's fair. But it is that space where you feel that way. And what about you, Ellie? How do you feel about being paired with Eva?
The first time I saw Eva's work was the image at Artfields, also of your father during the eclipse. And the full eclipse that we went through here in South Carolina a couple years ago obviously was a spiritual experience. And I think when you love the people you paint as much as Eva and I love the people that we paint, it's very obvious.
It is very obvious. It is.
I was standing there with someone that I went to Artfields with, and she was just stunned by Eva's eclipse picture. And we just sat there like in absolute awe of it. And you're right, they are a different type of portraiture, but they make you feel like they ignite your own soul when you like subject yourself to them fully and let them take you where you want to, where they want to take you.
Right. I think that it's important to feel the energy of both pieces and be able to really understand, because it's like and it's so much fun because you don't have to know a lot about art for this exhibit. Mm-hmm. Like you just have to be really willing to like be open-minded. That's it. Like that's the caveat, that's the requirement for crowned. Like you don't have to know about Dadaism, you don't have to know about Van Gogh or Manet or Renoir, or you don't have to know about the eras of Baroque and things like that. You just have to really just like be willing to come in and subject yourself to all of this lovely intensity of color and just like let it take you wherever you want to, which is kind of where like the little idea of the godmother comes in. And so it kind of feels like this. Did y'all hear it? I didn't hear my little, oh, okay. Bill's like, no, we can't use any buttons. All right, so then that lets me know that we are actually going to go to break, and I'm going to use my button next time. So we're going to go to break. We're going to listen to our sponsors. You're going to hear us, and then you're going to come back and you're going to get some more from us. All right, thanks, guys. Bill, you got to tell me. All right, and we are back in action. This is Simone Elbe with the Visual Arts and Education at Cain Center for the Arts, and I am with the phenomenal Ellie Rose and Eva Crawford. And this is actually your official, I'm just going to officially invite the audience because I don't think I've done that yet. So let's officially invite the audience to come check out the Crown exhibit that is open to the public starting April 16th through June 7th. With a reception on June 6th, but the dates for this exhibit are going to be from April 16th to June 7th, and I cannot express or encourage you enough to come out and see these two ladies and see why we have crowned this exhibit crowned and why they're in our facility. So I'm excited for you guys to come on out. So please make sure that you stop by, you see this phenomenal body of work, and we're going to get right back into it. I just want to do my flashback button because it just, all right. That gives me the fairy godmother.
We should all have buttons like those.
I mean, could you imagine going through life in a meeting? Just like, oh, I remember. Did you remember that? That was such a good point of the exhibit. We love that.
It reminds me of Princess Diaries, so it's very perfect for crowned.
Yeah,
which is exciting. I'm glad you said that because it actually is. So I want to talk about the way that we came up with this exhibit. Do you guys remember when we actually put our minds together to figure out what was like the theme behind these pieces, or this body of work? Because I saw Ellie Rose's, and Ellie Rose, give us the name of your namesake piece for this exhibit.
Catherine the Gallant.
Catherine the Gallant. So Catherine the Gallant was the one that was actually submitted for Art Fields. And I was like, I want that piece. I knew exactly where I wanted that. I was like, and then I saw Eva and I was just like, wait a minute. These two need to go together. They need to be married. And when you look on Eva's website, I saw that she had a similar piece. Eva, what is the name of your piece?
So that was Queen Charlotte, which was a watercolor which is not in the show because it's sold. But I created a larger, more magnificent one that would partner well with Ellie's pieces.
Listen, she's really understating that. She has beaded, like, why would you do that to me? Why would you? She has beaded like fabric at the bottom of the piece.
It's beautiful. To
display like the actual dress, right? Is that what the dress is, or is that the grass?
Well, I wanted to make her life size.
Yeah.
And yes. I wanted to extend the canvas.
Okay. And it did. You did.
It did.
You did. And like you're saying it real, like, oh, I just wanted to extend. No, this piece of body, this piece of work is just like amazing. And then you put them together. So, and that kind of helped with the theme of Crown because you have these two phenomenal women. They're very strong. They're very powerful, but they're very, very, very talented. And you really want to showcase that. And you really want to grab the audience's attention with the like initial capture of marketing. So I'm like, how am I going to really capture the essence of these two women and their body of work for the idea of what I have for this curation and really get the audience to see what I know is like phenomenal pieces of work. And so Crown came up, and then like you have these two wonderful, like Catherine the Gallant and Queen Charlotte in the hallway with jewels surrounding them. And I mean, it's just it goes overboard. I have to stop talking about it because it sounds like I like it because I did it, but I really like it because it just looks that's not the case. I don't like it because I did it. I like it because it's good work. You know, like there's a difference. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I did it. But this is actually just really good work and they marry so well. So can we talk about the way that we felt powerful being able to display the power in all of this work? Because I think that was significant for us in the initial conversation about it, is that we wanted to display the power of the pieces and the body of work as women. Could you break that down?
Yeah, Ellie, talk about your piece.
My sister is Catherine the Gallant.
That's so cute.
And she is this, it's not unintimidating being a petite blonde woman. That is scary in itself. But, in spite of her maybe seeming small, she isn't. She's retired military. She's a horse girl. She can back up a trailer and put it anywhere she wants to, She's a very capable woman. And she has that military stance. I've painted both her and her husband. They both have that very powerful stance. And I just wanted, I think with her at that time with those paintings, I really was trying to put so much information about the people themselves into the paintings. That entire color palette is for my sister. Those colors are not my colors. And what she's wearing is based off of the things that she likes and the shows that she watches and the things that she does in her everyday life. The art on the walls in the painting is reflective of who she is as a person. And I think the quality about my sister that I wanted to expose most with that painting was just how fierce she is. And how intimidating she actually is. The women in my family can be very frightening. And she is not lacking that ability to frighten. But there's just something inherently spectacular about being, admirable about her being a powerful, intense, wild woman. That's a phrase that my family likes to use, is wild woman. But she is. I think it really came across how I feel about her. And I had someone point this out recently that the painting of my nephew, same thing. It really shows his personality, that these paintings really show their personalities. And I don't think I'm even trying to do that. I think that is something that happens naturally throughout the process of making them. And then also most of my paintings are big by most people's standards. That painting is 90 inches tall. It's a big painting.
Look at Bill's face. Bill looked back like, what? Yes. Both of their pieces are not this is not a small painting exhibit. These are not little quaint little, these are pretty. No, they are seriously, I can't say the word, but that's what they are. Whatever you felt just now, that's what it is.
Yes, that's right.
That whatever you felt, that's what it is. Okay,
and so making large paintings too, I think is just such a baller move to come from a woman. Anyways, you want to take up that space, and I think it works for both of us.
Yes,
in that individual piece, it makes her. It shows off who she is, but it also shows off who I am.
I agree. I think that those pieces, the size of them, really work. I'm gonna slide to Eva. What do you think about your piece? And if you hear the flashing godmother, that's because we're gonna roll on out to commercial break. But I do want to get you to let us know about your piece while coming up behind Ellie to kind of help us out there.
Well, I love that you called your sister fierce. So Queen Charlotte, I'm from Charlotte, and I had done some paintings in relation to something else, but I thought I want to do life size, and so of course I'm basing it off of Alan Ramsey's versions of Queen Charlotte, because I've never met her and don't have a photo of her. So he informed me, but then what I wanted to give is a nod to her background, a nod to who she is or who she was, Queen to Charles I, but she was a fierce woman, raised a lot of kids, took care of her husband who just kind of lost his mind, George III, I'm sorry, is who her husband was.
I only know this because of the show on Netflix.
George III. And so, but anyway, she was a botanist. So, and also has direct relationship to the Black Portuguese line. So there's that bloodline that I wanted to show in the way she's dressed.
Yeah.
And I thought it really paired nicely with Ellie's work.
I mean, I'm not saying this because I like it. I'm just saying it's really good work, okay? It's really good. And it is good that you were able to know, because I think it's important for people to know that you realize that you didn't have the original work, like you didn't have an original picture, that you took it from the idea of the previous artist or the previous sculptor that had the work, because we have like statues and like pieces of homage all over Charlotte about Queen Charlotte. And you see different kinds of versions of her.
Right.
So to see her really show up the way that I think to know her. But we're going to shut me up and we're going to turn on these commercials. And so we'll be right back with Know the Scene Queen's Takeover. All right. We are back, and it is Know the Scene, the Queen's Takeover. You are speaking with Simone Elbay, the Visual Arts and Education Director at Cain Center for the Arts, and we are currently in conversation with two phenomenal artists that are currently being exhibited in our current exhibition, Crowned. We have Ellie Rose and Eva Crawford. They are here. We're talking about all the things. And we are, again, let me just officially invite you guys out to see this exhibit. This exhibit will be up from April 15th to June 7th. Our hours are from Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So anytime, and of course, if you get tickets to a performance, the exhibit is always open during those times as well. So if you come out anytime, you will be able to be graced with this body of work. So I can just, you need to come out. You need to come get a show. If you come to any other show, we got Stunt Dogs coming up. Yay Day is coming up. You definitely want to get your Stunt Dog tickets. We have 2 performances on April 20th. So you definitely want to come out and check us out and get some drinks, come out, hang out with the gang, and, see Crown, the exhibit. If you can't do it then we have a list of things on cainarts.org. So please check us out with performances, classes, summer camps, as well as the June 6th reception for this specific exhibit. It'll be on June 6th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. You are cordially invited to bring your loved ones and come out and have a drink with us and actually get to talk to Eva and Ellie in person, which is pretty cool because, you'll find out why I love them. It'll be clearly obvious why they're, pretty cool. Okay? All right. So, I just want to talk about, the way that we came into connection with Eva and Ella, which was through Art Fields. So Art Fields started out for us really research. I always look for other artists and art organizations that kind of do what we do similarly and have the commitment and mission to artists the way that we want to and the way that we do. It is always mission oriented when I'm looking at partners and looking at organizations that are like-minded or in the same field, because you really want to work with people who understand the value of the people that you serve. And Art Fields came up and somebody connected me to Kyle. And let me just shout out Kyle. He is the fine arts manager, and he is the one. He is the one and the only. He is the one. I mean, the whole team gets behind the Art Fields competition, but that man will really put his thinking cap on. And I mean, he is phenomenal. There's not a question that I have that he does not have an answer to.
He's the artist whisperer.
He is.
He keeps us, all 400 of us in line.
I'm I mean, Kyle is just and he's so chill about it. He's just no, we do it this way. Yeah, no. Yes. And he's and I mean, he has such a plethora of knowledge. And so when me and him connected formally, he was he invited me down to Lake City, and I was like, okay, I'll go. So I go, I'm driving down, and I'm okay, I get to meet other people. I'm do. And I get to Lake City, and these people are my kind of people. Mm-hmm. They are community oriented. They are artist oriented. They are lovers. Like they were just like, hey, come on, this is your first time. They wanted me to just go see all the things. And I went to like different types of boutiques and businesses downtown and was in love. And then of course, Kyle invites me back for the actual exhibition. So while we're talking, when I went there the first time, he was just like, I think our organizations have synergy. I said, oh, I'm so glad you think that, because I think that too. And so we started to talk about what an actual partnership looked like. And we were such like, we're so new to the gang, you know, like we're so new, even though our organization has been in the works for like 5 years and counting, as far as us having a building and a facility to actually host our lovely residents in our community. We're new. We're like a year and a couple of months in. So he's like, I think that our organizations have synergy. We love your mission. And I'm like, we love yours. And we just like hit it off from the very beginning. And he's like, so do you want to like be one of our partners? I was like, do I? So he sends, I never told you guys this, but he sends me the list of all the submissions. Do you know it took me 3 weeks to go through all the submissions, and that's how I chose you guys? Yo, I never told you guys that, did I?
We thought you saw us in person.
No, I actually like looked through. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Your face is exactly how I. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Ellie, that's exactly what happened. I went through every single submission. I went through every single artist. And I pulled them up. I went through their website, because you had to like submit with your website and all your stuff. And I looked at everybody and I wrote down like everybody that sung to me. And then I had like a list of like 20. And out of that list, I went back and revisited, and I just kept bringing it down. I kept bringing the list down. And you guys were like the ones that were left standing. Because every time I went back, I felt the same way. I never told you guys that.
So cool.
And look at Ellie's face.
And can I just say, to be involved in art fields is a huge deal. I mean, it's such an honor. And then for us to receive an exhibition award, I just felt like the queen. I did feel like the queen.
See? Crowned. Yeah. We crowned out.
Yeah.
Cain Center Fires. We crowned it. I'm so, oh my God, that gives me so, because I like to do stuff for artists for the reception. So that just gave me a really, really cute idea. So I'm excited. So if you want to see what my cute idea is, you better come to this reception on June 6th at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. because you're going to see something that's going to be a surprise to them and to everyone else. So that'll be exciting. But yeah, you guys were left, like you were the ones that every time I went back to your website, I felt the same way about your work. And I think that that's the thing when you're looking at curating a body of work about an artist or for an artist, is that you want to feel the consistency of the emotion. You don't want to go look at it and then leave and then be like, you want to look at it every single time and feel the same level of impact. And every time I just kept pulling your stuff up. I'm like, I really like them though. And I was just like, well, I'm going to take a couple more pieces off my lips. And then I would go back. And I mean, but yeah, I can't believe I never told you guys that. I went through everybody's stuff. I went through the whole list.
When we got the exhibition awards, I was so like stunned.
I still have our pictures, Ellie.
What was happening? And I had to ask you after several minutes. I was like, what does this mean?
She did.
You proceeded to tell me. And then there's this photograph of me like throwing my arms up in the air. Like, thank the Lord I got what I needed out of this. But also you were like, yeah, I looked at your website. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, no.
But you know what? But that's the thing about work. Like it speaks and it carries its own energy. And so again, I kept looking. I started with a list of 20, 25, and I just kept diminishing it based on how many. I would go sit with it and then I would go back to it. I would go sit with it and go back to it. And then we were at this point developing our identity as a visual arts organization and a performing arts organization. So we're still cultivating what that personality looked like. But every time I went back to your work, it still felt like us. It felt like this was a marriage that could happen. It felt like this was something that could actually take off. This was something that could really like take legs and go somewhere with it. And then like at the end of me curating this past week, the marketing director, Amanda Sloan, shout out to Amanda for always just putting stuff together. Shout out to my girl, Amanda. So Amanda, she looks at me, she said, this exhibit is baller. She texts me that. She's like, this is a baller exhibit. Ooh, yeah. That's an air horn. Shout out to Bill.
Well, do you want our websites?
Okay. Give us the websites. I know, like, give the people the ways to connect with you too.
Well, mine is, my branding is just Eva Crawford Art. So my website is evacrawfordart.com. My socials are at Eva Crawford Art. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about Instagram? Like, can they?
At Eva Crawford Art.
Yeah. So what about you, Ellie?
Same. Ellie Rose Art.
Oh, that is so
Yes.
funny. Well, we will also be tagging them. So if you follow Cain Center for the Arts, we will be tagging them in our promotions. If you're on our subscribers list, you will get the announcement of the invitation to come out and take a look at the body of work. This has been a phenomenal show. I cannot express to you the level of art, the level of personality, the level of like vibrant colors, and the energy that will be in our gallery and in our facility while this work is up. And like I said, Stunt Dogs is coming in. So you should come see some dogs, okay?
Yes,
do some
queen.
stunts. Oh, thank you so much. You should see some dogs, do some stunts, get a drink, and like really take the time to see the work and enjoy the facility. That is what we want to be as an organization. We want people to be able to come to us and get it all. Like you get the classes, you get the performances, you get the exhibits, you get the community inspiration, the events, things like that. So this would be the time for sure. So again, the exhibit is up from April 15th to June 7th. And our hours are Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The reception is June 6th. So please mark your calendars. Again, if you are not following us on Instagram or Facebook, or if you want to be a subscriber and get our newsletter in the email, please go to our website. But we are on Instagram at Cain Center for the Arts. We are on Facebook at Cain Center for the Arts. You will see us promote the heck out of this, okay? So you guys, all you have to do is just follow us and we will lead you to Eva and Ellie. You will not be lost, okay? You will not. We will be able to connect you to, and you guys will be able to really see what we have going on, because that is the one thing that I love, is that it is we are a personal organization. Like we are a personality of artists, like just from exec all the way down. Like we are a group of personality people, right? And so you get all of that personality as soon as you hit the door. Shout out to the team at Cain Center for the Arts. Thoroughly enjoy working with them. They are a phenomenal group of people. I could not get up and do this every single day if I didn't do it with them. Thanks to Bill for having us here today. We really appreciate it. Shout out to Amanda for always putting all these things together and making all of my dreams come true in like the digital like marketing world. She does it all the time. We're gonna head on out. You ladies want to say anything last minute?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, and look forward to seeing you at the show.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we are now going to end out. So you guys check us out. Again, follow Cain Center for the Arts. And the Queen's Takeover is out.